MAME phase.
Good afternoon, everybody. I decided once again I would do a little stream. Again, unannounced, unplanned, so I'm just going to play a random selection of games in MAME. I'm not sure exactly what. I thought, being on a bit of an IGS run recently with Alien Challenge and Lord of Gun, I would start with an IGS game, so that's exactly what we do. We're going to have a look at Killing Blade for the PGM system. Now, this, I believe, was IGS's second attempt at a fighter game after Alien Challenge, and there was sort of a gap of about 3-4 years between them. I think this is 97, 98, and Alien Challenge was 94. So let's see how things developed in that time and what they came up with, given a few years to refine their formula a little bit. Now, immediately you will see with this one, the style's a bit different. They've gone for a much more serious-looking style. You've got some of your characters who clearly come from the Knights of Valor games style art. But yeah, it's more Samurai Showdown this time, isn't it? We can select it Ding. See how Ding plays. I believe this is a 4-button fighter. Ding? Link? I don't know. But yes, we have a weapons-based fighter. Visually, yeah, it feels more like the other early PGM games, like an Oriental Legend. Sort of got that very similar style of art. First Knights of Valor, Oriental Legend. Not IGS at their best artistically. I think some people do prefer Alien Challenge just because it was so ridiculously over the top, whereas this definitely wants to go for something a little more serious, a little more contemporary, maybe to compete with what SNK were doing, and even Capcom to a degree. You see, I've triggered a background change here. I don't think it looks bad. It's, I mean, it's typical IGS at the period, really. Heavily protected. In fact, one of the weird things about this game is the protection. It's all over the place. Some characters have loads of protection associated with them, some stages have loads of protection associated with them, and some have none. As you can see, it seems to be a team-based game as well, so you can somehow swap between your characters. I used to know how, I think. Ling, I thought I was Ding, not Ling. Oh well. There we go. Now, so it's probably just a combination of buttons, isn't it? Or something like that. I'm not sure. I probably should have researched that before playing it. Yeah, you've got your standard combo attacks. I don't think it's a bad game. I think a lot of people prefer Martial Masters, for example, which they did later. Maybe we'll have a look at that later on stream or another stream. There's also other fighting games on PGM hardware, such as Spectral vs Generation, although that was more Idea Factory. No, I don't know how to change characters. I'm sure there's a way. Unless you just lose. I don't know. Maybe is it more like King of Fighters? At this point, I really can't remember. But anyway, I've lost. I've lost because I was doing too much talking, not enough playing. Yeah, it's been a good few years since I played this one. I had to play it quite extensively when checking the protection implementations. I think it's one of those where the protection chip is likely going to be some other MCU with DMA operations and the like, but at the moment it's all simulated because there's no way to dump the internal ROM for that has been found. Ow. See, lots of fancy effects there. They've got their simple particle sort of, I don't know, can you call them particle effects? I guess you still call them particle effects in the 2D era. I mean, there's lots of flashy explosions in different parts of the screen, all different sprites, and yeah, it looks alright. Now, PGM, hardware of note, features of note is that it doesn't really use tile-based sprites, that uses sprites with sort of bit mask 1BPP ROMs and then colour data that fills that in. So it means quite often you get sprites that are maybe slightly more unusual sizes because they've not got to fit a certain number of tiles. They can just draw them how they want to draw them. So it doesn't, you know, you're not wasting a tile if you go a single pixel into another tile or anything like that. Which I don't know if the artist cared about, but if you're developing a game, it's potentially significant. But, how dare you challenge me with this? Other weird things with this game is that it will ask you for your name about halfway through the game. I believe so that it can use it in the story. Now this is one of the characters that's heavily protected. This little guy here with the rings. All sorts of routines associated with him. Now let's just... you can see this did get an English release. It was fully localized. Well, I say fully. There's some bits that I think the name entry might still be quite Chinese from memory, but I can't remember actually. Maybe they did localize that. I know in some games they didn't, so you get a weird mix. But this may be one way they did. Jian here. I don't know how you're meant to avoid some of these moves. I guess you're just not meant to let them do them. Now, just tell you the moves so you can learn what you're doing at the bottom there, and learn from the computer if they're doing a move. But I don't know. There we go. So, taking him out. Nice fireworks in the background. I do like a nice firework display in a game. Ooh, that point was countered. I'm assuming this game is not the best balanced. I don't really ever see anybody playing competitively. Maybe it's just not popular enough. I don't know. I do kind of like it though. It's not one I'm going to go out my way to play, because in general I don't play fighting games, but whenever I have played it, I've enjoyed it enough to not come away with a terrible impression of it. It's just a bit slower paced and less exciting than, say, Alien Challenge was, and less ridiculously over the top. I mean, it's quite a by the numbers affair. It's characters, various stages around the world, I think. Or is it mainly China? I think this might be mainly China. Nice fire effects in the background. Some of the characters are definitely better drawn and better animated than other ones. So no, I don't know how to use the secondary character for the attacks, or tag them in or whatever you do. I should probably should have researched that first. And the background is being rather pounded there. I do like it the way it changes the palette up during the stage to, you know, makes it a bit more dramatic. I think PGM showed that IGS could make some decent games. I mean, IGS mostly made gambling games before that, apart from, say, the odd one or two, like the ones we're looking at, Alien Challenge, Lord of Gun, and a few almost gambling style puzzle games. I mean, Grand Tour, IQ Block, and the like. They're barely games at all. So yeah, the computer knows how to tag players, and I don't. It's not just a special move, is it? It's, oh well. At least you get to see more action. The computer are not afraid to use their moves in this game. So we're going to play until we have to continue in this one. You can do some pretty high jumps. I think if you double tap jump, you get an extra high jump like that as well. So you can always play it like one of the Marvel games where you're jumping around sky high. I don't know if there's any benefits to doing that. Feel more like you're playing a Dragon Ball game. Those Dragon Ball fighters and not bad. I don't think I've ever played those on stream, have I? Alright, the Konami Dragon Ball fighters. And I believe I've lost. But only that round. So yeah, is this all set in China? I think it might be. I think all these locations seem... it doesn't seem to be going around the world. It's not showing me landmarks from your stereotypical landmarks from around the world. So I'm assuming this is actually all going to be set in China. We're getting beaten up there. Or maybe Japan. I don't know. But whatever that was, it didn't really work out, did it? Oh well, I've definitely lost this time. So, yeah, chat is very quiet. If anybody is lurking and feels like saying hello, feel free. And otherwise, if you're happy just lurking, I don't mind you just lurking. This is not really the normal time for streaming, afternoon on a Monday, so I'm guessing a lot of people are going to be at work. Yeah, so you say the intro text there and stuff still not localised, so some bits got localised, some bits didn't. I think the names in this case did, because you can tell there. Anyway, you get your versus screens that take forever to cycle through them. Back to the intro. So that was Killing Blade. Now, I mean, we could just stop there. We could call that and end with not playing Killing Blade for there. But I want to show another version, because quite a few years later, in 2005, one of the later PGM releases was the Killing Blade Plus. Now this one, as far as I know, did not get localised. Even if you hack the region in the internal protection ROM, it still runs in Chinese. So I'm pretty sure this one is region locked for whatever reason to China. Maybe there's a Taiwanese version that's not dumped. But yes, this is the Plus version, which rebalances the game somewhat. You can see they've put the logo down the bottom. But anyway, let's. I think the intro is the same, other than the extra logo on the bottom. Let it play out anyway. There we go, 2005 IGS. So they took their time reworking this one. Character selection screen's different. Still, I can select 3 characters instead of 2. So it's a bit more King of Fighters at this point. So we have a rather large character here. Is this one of the boss characters? I don't remember. So I don't know how to play this character. We can bake some coloured smoke. That's always an effective technique, isn't it? You see, this one is still in Chinese, so I'd say this version did not get localized. These characters seem to have lots of high-hitting moves and not many low-hitting ones, which against this tiny little guy is not that good. hoping we'd see some new stages, but you start with the stage you saw the first time around. And now we get you, do we? Oh. So yeah, how do I even change characters in this? I don't know. It's always fun when you don't have a clue what some of the game mechanics are, isn't it? Oh, maybe I have to use start. Maybe I have to use the start button, I don't know. I've somehow changed my character. So anyway, never mind. Without even working out what I'm doing, I changed my character. Running out of time on this one though. Gives you more characters, but does not give you more time. But I won. This uses the PGM zooming in places, which looks really, really bad. The zoom hardware on the PGM was not the best. Let's be fair. This is going to be the same stage again, isn't it? So I guess I get 2 characters and a support character. Now I look tiny. My character's been scaled just to make it look tiny against this other character. That's one way to do things. I don't know what that move is. It seems almost defensive. Now I've got my full-size fight again though, because I'm meant to be fighting a normal-sized character. That's a very weird way to do things. It doesn't scale the backgrounds, because it can't scale the backgrounds, so... yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's because unlike, Geo, this is a tile map and sprite-based system, and the backgrounds are tile maps, which have no zooming. There are just the 4 buttons on start, so let's play as this character this time. So oh dear. So guy has his turtle shell. Spiky turtle shell. What on earth is going on? Colourful trail effects behind the characters there. I do like it when they do that. The purple trail makes the characters stand out. Could swap to this sword walker guy. I think I had him in support last time, never used him, didn't I? He has turned to lava colour, blood red. There we go. charged there, but I just need to get my moves off. Oh, that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know. It's a small update to the game, but it apparently just changed quite a lot of balance aspects, and obviously lets you choose 3 characters. I don't know which version is meant to be better. I've heard bad things said about this update, but I've heard bad things said about the original. If you like fighting games, you're probably going to find some enjoyment out of them, as long as maybe you don't try and analyse them in too much detail. Because you know they're IGS fighting games, they're probably not super balanced in the way SNK or Capcom ones are. But artistically, it's pleasing. There's lots of flashy moves going on, and that's kind of how I judge fighting games. If they're satisfying to play in some way that is probably technically irrelevant. Anyway, that was the Killing Blade and the Killing Blade Plus. I say at some point I do need to do a stream on games and their updated, reworked, refined versions, semi-sequels, clones that aren't quite clones, things like that. I think that would probably be one of the ones I look at in such a case. I don't know about what other ones I'd be doing. Anyway. Let's have a look at. Let's go shoot 'em up territory. Let's play good old classic. Classic? Is it? I don't know. Raiden Fighters 2. Let's blast a few things out the sky for a little bit. The middle of 3 Raiden Fighters games. The first one was just Raiden Fighters. It was going to be called Gundogs originally. This is the sequel. And then they got Raiden Fighters Jet, which takes an odd sort of training simulation approach to things and unusual stage ordering. Whereas this one I think is a little more traditional. People tend to remember these for the soundtrack. Sort of industrial dance electronic soundtrack in shoot 'em ups is not really what people were used to hearing at the time. I think it's a little polarising. You really want this soundtrack to pump you up, it works, but if you wanted a more traditional shoot 'em up soundtrack, like the original Raiden, which is an iconic soundtrack, then this probably wasn't what you wanted to hear. I don't know. So anyway, get a bunch of ships to choose from. You can go for the Raiden Mark II. So you've got your reflection of the clouds in the water there, which looks a bit odd until you work out what it is. And the planes that look like they're flying backwards, but odd. It suddenly seems a lot louder than the other game, but my meters are showing about the same, so I don't know. If you can't hear me, well, maybe that's for the best. Ooh. Let's just blow everything. It doesn't play much like the older Raiden games. It's much faster paced, much more frantic. Possibly why, say, the series was originally going to be called Gundogs until it got the Raiden name. I don't know. Oh, helps if I don't die though. The series is still going. There's still some new games out in the Raiden series, although I think 3 and 4 are pretty good. 5 was kind of terrible. I've got them on the Switch. Bombs. Still got your traditional Raiden bombs. With this ship at least, which is the the Raiden ship. I picked it. This is a little bit loud even for me. Ooh. But yes, the audio in this is intense, to say the least. Yeah, toothpaste laser, power up toothpaste laser. At least it has that. I mean, okay, the toothpaste laser was not in Raiden 1. It's something that arrived with Raiden 2. But it is one of the iconic things about the games at this point. Everybody thinks, oh, the game with the toothpaste laser. And it's one of the reasons people, I think, kept asking about Raiden 2 emulation before it was emulated for so long, because, you know, it's the thing they remember about the game, and the first game in the series did not have it. Although, you know, I do really like the original. But they had to put it in this, didn't they? I think it's in all the newer ones too. Just the way it wraps around. Homes in and locks on, and just one of the prettier things, isn't it? There's all sorts of hidden bonuses in these games as well, which is why things that will pop up at the top are destroyed at a time. I know there's a website that lists what they all are and how to trigger them. But, oh. Lost my laser, lost my life. Now, if you're playing these in MAME, the first time you boot them up, you do have to wait for that countdown to run out, and if you do start to load it, do not quit during the countdown, because it will brick the status of the flash, and you have to delete your MVRAM file to try again. I'm assuming if you do that on hardware, you end up with a dead board, which is fun. Unless you can actually remove the flash chip and reprogram it yourself. But yeah, do not turn it off when it says do not turn it off. So yes, that was a little bit of Raiden Fighters 2. Shall we put one of the older games on for a little bit of fun there? I think we should. Let's go back a couple of entries and have a look at Raiden DX, which is a sort of reworked version of Raiden 2 with more modes and extra stuff. So Mission Bravo is the one that's basically the Raiden 2 mode. Slightly remixed version of the soundtrack. You can see it's much slower paced. Much less screen filling in terms of everything, but fantastic game. All the little debris effects really make this one up, because that was uncommon at the time. There's that purple. You really have to hammer it to get the laser this time as well. It's not quite so immediate. But there we go. Keep hammering and you keep your laser going. You see, I much prefer this soundtrack. I don't mind the sort of electronic, dancey, industrial one that the later game has, but to me this is more traditional shoot 'em up soundtrack. You can feel the explosions more. They're not being overpowered by the music. Wasn't looking. Well, let's not have the toothpaste laser for now. I'm sure it must have a proper name, but not toothpaste laser, but everybody calls it toothpaste laser. Now, traditional Raiden power-up system means that you have to collect the same colour power you've got to upgrade, otherwise it just swaps to a different weapon, which is not what you want. You don't want the same level of a different weapon, you want to actually power up by collecting the same colour. Unless you do want to swap, in which case get a different one, but that will leave you at the same level rather than powering you up. This is one of those games where the bullets are directed at you hard and fast. No, it's not bullet hell, it's if we want to knock you out the sky. which you can use to your advantage. You know, just make sure you pull the bullets into areas where you know you can get out of the way afterwards. Look at the way the enemies destroy the ground as well. They're taking out the trees as they walk along, as your bombs do. Oh dear. Yeah, we'll continue. Without most of our firepower, but we can continue. There we go, big boom. Oh, hey, Nintendo Moan, welcome. You saved a copy of the MV-RAM file, yeah. It makes sense. I mean, all it really does is copy the sound data from the ROM on the cartridge into the ROM on the motherboard. It takes forever to do that, but they use it as region protection as well, because the pre-programmed flash on the motherboard has a region code in it, and the region code must match the programmer on the cartridge, otherwise it won't flash. So it's a weird form of protection, and also, I guess, just to make the sound ROM access quicker, closer to the motherboard. I don't know. It's a really odd design, but yeah, just creating a backup of your MV-RAM files and keeping them somewhere safe is a good idea. Otherwise, you do have to go through that ridiculously long process every time you do a new MAME installation, and I don't think that those files are going to change at any point, so it's pretty safe to keep them backed up. Same for CPS3. At least CPS3, it makes sense, it's loading the stuff off a CD into the flash ROM, not just copying from one ROM into another. But I don't know, I'm sure that they had their reasons. It's just annoying, especially to Raiden's original systems. There we got our cows. Look, let's bomb some cows. Cows are immune to bombs. Fun fact. Yeah, these do have great music. Hope you're doing well anyway. Good to see you. Thank you for dropping a comment. Oh. But yeah, I say it's not only the music itself, it's just that when music's more in the background, you can hear the explosions more and it feels more impactful. I find that with quite a few games, people will give them much louder, more intense soundtracks, but it takes away from the rest of the soundscape of the games. I found it with quite a few games that got re-released on CD, where there's suddenly gone full orchestral versions of the songs on CD, and the sound effects of the game get buried in the mix, which you don't really want. You want the sound effects to be there at the front as well. And this type of music works better than the louder music the other game had. Anyway, I think that's me dead. But yeah, Raiden DX in this case is a fun one. Definitely check out some of the clones as well of the original Raiden 2 rather than DX, because there's a much harder version, there's the easier versions, there's a whole bunch of them. So if you've played a lot of Raiden 2 and also played Raiden DX here to death, then look at some of the clone sets, because they're kind of interesting. Secrets found 0%, guts 46%. I wonder how much of that was my guts splattered all over the screen.